Pittsburgh's Michael Young wearing a mask after fracturing a bone near his right eye. Had the mask on over the weekend, was 0 for 10 against Miami. He's still the ACC's second leading scorer. Pitt, NC State, top of the hour after College Basketball Live. Welcome to College Basketball Live. Alongside Debbie Antonelli, I'm Anish Shroff. Here's what you need to know on this Tuesday. Speaking of stars, this kid is a slam dunk star. Dennis Smith had a career-high 31 against Georgia Tech on Sunday. Wolfpack, though, lost that game. They've lost 3 straight. NC State Pitt, top of the hour on the U. But before that, a little crisscross applesauce with the Wolfpack freshman.
What is your name?
My name is Dennis Smith. What's your favorite team?
Wolfpack!
You like Wolfpack? You can throw up the Wolfpack?
Oh, oh!
You gotta get the Wolfpack right, though. You throwing up bunny ears. Right, there you go.
Oh, oh!
There you go.
Do you know how to dance?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Look at it. Okay.
Oh, watch me whip, whip, oh, watch me whip. Do the stinky leg. Do you get buckets?
Of course. Yeah, I'm gonna teach you a dunk. Come on, stand up. The dab dunk. You gotta, if you go up the dunk, you gotta go like this. And dunk with your eyes closed. Can y'all do that? Dunk it though. You gotta dunk with the other one, like.
1, 2, 3, Wolfpack!
College Basketball Live is brought to you by Allstate. It's good to be in good hands. Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out. And Nissan. Innovation that excites.
Well, we get to see at the top of the hour the leading scorer in the ACC, Jamel Artis. He's put up some big numbers the last few weeks. Had a 40-point game against Louisville recently. Artis and Pittsburgh will take on NC State. For that, we go on a fast break with Michael Young.
ACC back.
Listen, scoring's not a problem for NC State.
Right.
I called their game on Sunday. Defense is a problem. They gave up 86 to a Georgia Tech team that has trouble scoring. Now they face Pitt, which has the top 2 scorers in the ACC.
Right, you're absolutely right. It's a challenge to try to defend Artis and Young. They're both 2 20-point-a-game scorers. So for NC State, they've got to guard the 3-point line, and they've got to make a decision. Are they going to go to the glass offensively, or are they going to get back in transition? Pitt only scored 46 points in their last game against Miami. And Michael Young went 0 for 10, but he was wearing that mask, and he was only cleared 90 minutes before the game. So he might not have mentally been in the right frame of mind to take on that game. However, NC State's got to defend the 3-point line, and Artis, they've got to do a good job on him. And I'm almost thinking that Artis and Dennis Smith are going to cancel each other out a little bit. Yeah. So who is going to make some plays? I'm waiting for Maverick Rowan to get into rhythm.
You know, he played well in the second half of that loss to Georgia Tech on Sunday. For Pittsburgh, though, you go back to their one ACC win against Virginia. Cameron Johnson stepped up. Sheldon Jeter stepped up. It was more than just Young and Artis.
You know, in college basketball, if you have that third piece, and it can come in a variety of ways, and that third piece doesn't have to be an individual. It could be some part of your game plan that maybe you weren't doing to the best of your ability. So, you know, for Pitt, they've got to take care of the basketball. They've got to be able to get up and down the floor in transition with NC State, because NC State is going to push. And then the Wolfpack's just got to do a better job of playing better quarter-court defense.
You know, both of these teams are 1-4, and the ACC right now, it's a healthy middle class in there. And Pitt and NC State are trying to get, into the grouping with all the 2-3, 3-2, 3-3 teams. Do you worry that you hit a bad stretch in this league, given who you're going to play? I mean, that could be your season.
Well, one of these teams is going to lose 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a concern. But NC State is 10-1 at home. Their first loss at home was to Georgia Tech in their last game. I think you are concerned about that, particularly with a league where Duke is 2-3 in the league. So this is not, you know, the person who wins the ACC in the deepest league in the country with potentially 10 teams going to the tournament could have 3 or 4 losses on top of the standing. So, you know, you're going to be in the mix. You got to make sure that you take care of what you can control. And control the controllables, winning at home is really critical in the league.
Yeah, and Pitt lost at home over the weekend. NC State lost at home over the weekend. Winning on the road in the ACC might be the hardest thing to do in college basketball. And so to your point, protect your home court. And you know, as a coach, we've heard this so many times, don't let one loss beat you over and over again. NC State, I go back to that North Carolina game. They got drubbed by 50. Then you lose to BC and Georgia Tech to back that up.
So you allowed the North Carolina loss to factor into the next 2 games. So you're going to make mistakes, okay? You have to move past them. In this league, it's coming at you every single night. And I don't feel like NC State's really gotten in rhythm yet. You know, they just haven't had all their players to be able to go. And a new point guard, Dennis Smith, trying to run, you know, Coach Gottfried's offense. And as good as Dennis Smith and as talented as he is, it does take some time to meld all those pieces together. It's not an excuse. It's actually a fact when it comes to the Wolfpack.
This speaks to how good the ACC is. We've got 2 1-4 teams. And just look at the star power. Dennis Smith, Jamel Artis, Michael Young. Rich Hollenberg and Dino Gaudio have the call. Fellas.
Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by CenturyLink. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And tonight from Raleigh, North Carolina, the NC State Wolfpack hosting the Pitt Panthers from PNC Arena. Alongside former ACC head coach Dino Gaudio, I'm Rich Hollenberg. And Dino, a treat for us tonight. We're being treated to the top 2 scorers in the country's best conference on the same floor.
Rich, Dennis Smith from NC State, the number 5 pick in Chad Ford's latest 2017 NBA mock draft, getting 21 points a game in conference, and he leads this league in assists and steals. And as we're seeing, he lives in the lane on offense where he creates for himself and others. One of the best point guards, not just in the ACC, but in the country. And Jamel Artis, 26 points per game in conference, coming off a 43-point game at Louisville. Only one of 2 players in the country averaging at least 20 points, shooting 50% from the field and 45% from 3.
And Dino, if Artis is Pitt's Superman, they also have a masked man, literally. Michael Young sporting a brand new mask, the result of a January 11th facial fracture he suffered against Louisville. Artis and Young together for the Panthers, the top scoring duo in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and we are underway at PNC Arena. The home team in white, the NC State Wolfpack, start off with the ball.
Well, Pitt defensively needs to keep NC State's Dennis Smith, we just highlighted him, out of the lane, especially off ball screen action, Rich.
These are 2 teams that mirror each other in a bad way, both coming off 3 straight losses, 4 of their last 5, making tonight's game almost a desperation game for both. Shot by Abu is good from just inside the 3-point line. Malik Abu opens the score.
Well, NC State's really been relying on Dennis Smith, and not many other guys have been scoring for them, so that's a good sign for the Wolfpack.
Here's Artis with his first touch. And now you can see why he's one of the top scorers in the nation, Dino.
Well, you saw right there what Pitt did in Kevin Stallings. They posted him up against a smaller Dennis Smith. Artis is 6'7", so he's a big guard that you could post.
Here's Rowan. That's his specialty. He's off the mark for the first time tonight. Rowan 8 for 15 from 3-point range in his last 3 games. That shot's off the mark. And the youngster, Yurt-7, with the rebound.
Rich, both of these teams want to play up-tempo and in transition.
And the first foul of the game, your officials tonight, Ron Groover, Jeffrey Anderson, and James Breeden.
Well, coming into this game, NC State wants to make Artis play in the crowd. Tough one-on-one matchup for Dennis Smith at 6'3", and Artis is 6'7".
Jamel Artis taking over the role of point guard on Kevin Stallings' Pitt Panthers team. Yurt-7, the offensive board, had it knocked out of bounds. It'll stay pack ball.
Rich, Omer Yurt-7, really talented at 7 foot, but we're seeing the deficiency in his game. He needs to get stronger.
Here's Abu off the window. No, another offensive board for Yurt-7, but he had it stripped. And there's Michael Young getting the ball. You see him with the mask, as we talked about. Really struggled with a mask that really didn't fit his face when he first used it. He went 0 for 10 from the field in his last game because he could barely see with that mask. Now he has a brand new one that is custom fitted to his face. They actually digitally imprint his face, send it off to a company out west, and they just had it shipped to him this morning.
And when we were talking about Kevin Stallings yesterday, he talked about hopefully this mask was going to be at the hotel, and it was today, because the other one was sort of a little bit antiquated. He couldn't look down. He had to tilt his head. Really affected his game.
Here's Terry Henderson, number 3 in white, averaging just under 15 a game for Mark Gottfried's club. Dennis Smith's first shot of the game, off the mark. Another offensive rebound for your 7, and it's a tied up ball. Possession arrow goes to the Pitt Panthers. Kevin Stallings in his first season in Pittsburgh after 17 with the Vanderbilt Commodores, 24th overall as a head coach, the owner of 467 career wins.
One of the brilliant offensive minds in all of college basketball. We've called their games, maybe 7 or 8 of them when he was down at Vanderbilt. Can really coach on the offensive end of the floor.
Sheldon Jeter gives it up to Young. Young shot, in and out, and Abu clears for NC State. Slow start offensively, 2.5 minutes gone by. Here's Henderson from the corner, in and out.
Well, NC State's has had some good looks, Rich, and you see Dennis Smith with the great kick out to Henderson. That's a terrific look for the Wolfpack.
Jones gets fouled, wants it to be a shooting foul. And Mark Gottfried, in his 6th season in Raleigh, 20th overall as a head coach, 2 wins shy of 400 for his career. This is an NC State club that's made the NCAA tournament 4 of the last 5 years, including 2 Sweet 16s, but this is a young and inexperienced NC State club. 7 of 10 players on the roster, underclassmen.
And Mark Gottfried, only the 3rd coach, Rich, in ACC history to take his team to the NCAA tournament in his first 4 seasons.
Chris Jones, a redshirt senior out of Teaneck, New Jersey, knocks down both, giving Pitt the 4-2 lead.
And I like what Vanderbilt's doing. Little soft press right now to burn some time off the shot clock so that when NC State is in the attack area, they're only playing with a 20-second shot clock right now.
Both these teams have really struggled defensively, especially in league play. What does Pitt like to do on the defensive end?
Well, they'll mix it up. They're predominantly a man-to-man team, but when they came back against Louisville the other night, when they were down 26, 1-3-1 zone defensively is what brought them back. 6
straight misses now for the Wolfpack on the offensive end. Here's Artis with a clear path. The step-through had it blocked by Henderson. And now Terry Henderson goes coast to coast.
Well, they need more offense out of Terry Henderson. Has not had a great 5-game ACC season thus far. Struggling from the field, only 38% shooting, only 31 from threes, and that's his specialty. So let's see if the layup gets him going.
Deep shot, no good by Cam Johnson, and there's a whistle on the floor.
Well, in transition, you need to stop the basketball first. So level it off. I don't care what the scouting report says. That might not be your guy, but stop the ball in conversion defense. Pitt struggled to do that right there.
Terry Henderson, one of those players Mark Gottfried was telling us about yesterday. He's a veteran player, but he had to take a year off. He sat out after he transferred from West Virginia. Dennis Smith, the All-American freshman, had to sit out his senior year of high school because of a knee injury. He's got a lot of players like that on his roster.
Terry Henderson, like you mentioned, sat out that first year that he transferred from West Virginia, and then he played a total of 6 minutes last year before he got hurt. So in essence, it's like he sat 2 years in a row.
A lot of players in their first year on the floor for Mark Gottfried's club. Still trying to find their rhythm, find their chemistry.
They really are. And you're seeing Artis defensively on number 4 at the bottom of your screen. Dennis Smith denying him the basketball.
Offensive foul on NC State. We have our first media timeout. 4-4 tie, Pitt and NC State.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink. Connecting more than just places. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And in part by One A Day Men's and Women's. And Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out.
Back on Super Tuesday, presented by CenturyLink from PNC Arena in Raleigh. It's a 4-4 ball game, 15:57 to go. Pitt and NC State. And Dino, these two teams are almost mirror images of each other. The same records, 12-6. The same ACC records, 1-4. They both lost 3 straight in 4 of their last 5. So what are the problems facing this Wolfpack team and this Panthers team?
Well, Rich, for both teams, it's on the defensive side of the ball. These teams are really struggling in ACC play. Number one, they're giving up too many points. Number two, field goal percentage defense is really poor. And the other thing, Rich, is they're not guarding the three-point line. So herein lies where the problem is. It starts with transition defense. It starts with guarding your man. And then the third thing is contesting shots, making teams miss.
B.J. Anya, the big man, number 21 in white, just checking in for Malika Boo. You saw him on the closeout at the top of the key, and NC State got the rebound as a result. Here's Rowan. Gives it to Yurtseven, and Omer Yurtseven's on the board.
What you saw what Kevin Stallings tried to do coming out of the timeout. He came out and trapped the first pass, tried to create offense off of his defense, but really good offense by NC State. The kick out, and it's always the second pass out of the trap that gets you the shot.
Pitt needs a field goal in a bad way. No buckets for them in the last 4 minutes.
Terrific offense. There's the trap, and it's always the second pass out of the trap. Smith is strong to Rowan. There's the second pass right there. You see Dennis Smith's strength right there as a freshman point guard, surrounded by bigger, stronger guys, but he made the right pass.
Young off the mark. He has yet to get in the scoring column. Could say that about just about everybody on this Pittsburgh roster so far. 5 minutes gone by. They've only mustered 4 points. The only good news for them, NC State not much better. There's an easy bucket for Rowan. He's in the scoring column, and it's an 8-4 NC State lead.
And Rich, that's NC State's UCLA offense right there. The rub off the high post, poor defense by Pitt, and the layup. Now watch Rowan make this pass to the wing right here after the dribble handoff, and watch him cut off the high post. Terrific rub screen right there. That's part of the UCLA offense that a guy named John Wooden created back in the day.
And of course the connection with Mark Gottfried. He was an assistant coach on Jim Herrick's staff when they won the national championship a little over 20 years ago.
And you know what, Rich? That was good offense back in the day, in the late 60s and 70s, and it's good offense today as well.
An early 8-4 lead for the NC State Wolfpack. Lost their first game at home this season, their last time out. And it was an embarrassing one at that. Lost by 10 to Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets hit 10 three-pointers in that game, and afterwards, Mark Gottfried told both of us his team's gonna have to decide if they want to play defense in this league or not, because if they don't, they're not going to win many ball games.
No, they aren't. You know what? This team can score. We know how talented they are offensively. But they got to bow their neck and guard on the other end of the floor if they want to get into the NCAA tournament.
Cam Johnson hits both free throws, making it an 8-6 ball game. Substitutions coming on. NC State started 1 for 8 from the field. They've since hit their last 3 field goal attempts, and they've all been at close range.
And we've already seen Pittsburgh with their third defense now. They're back to a 1-2-2 matchup zone.
Something Kevin Stallings told us he's almost forced to do. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Rowan. In and out. Yurtseven. His 4th offensive board of the night, but it still doesn't translate into points.
But I'll tell you what, he's doing yeoman's work on the board right now. The young fella with 9 total rebounds, Yurtseven.
So far, you're seeing a much better energized NC State on the defensive end. Here's Artis, nice lead for Young. He tried to throw it down, and he got fouled and will go to the line. Well, NBA superstars highlight our Wednesday doubleheader. The first game has Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks squaring off against James Harden and the Rockets at 8. And after that one's over, Russell Westbrook and the Thunder take on their former teammate KD and the Warriors from Oracle. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown, charged by Mountain Dew at 7. And you talk about Russell Westbrook synonymous with triple doubles. Well, we're watching young man tonight Dennis Smith Jr., who has himself a triple-double in ACC play.
Rich, you know how good this league has been and the prestige of the players in this league. He's the only freshman in the history of the league to get a triple-double, and he did it against Virginia Tech in league play. And there's our guy right there that he's mirroring a little bit.
Here's Rowan, not shy.
Well, that's what he is. He's a three-point shooter, and he's had good looks right now. But you know what, Rich? Every one of his shots have been short. One of the assistants on the bench has to tell him a little more lift in your jump shot.
That shot's off the mark, and we're going the other way.
Now, the one thing with this lineup that Pitt has, Rich, defensively, when they are man-to-man, they can switch all screens because they have guys that are 6'7", 6'8", and all of those guys can guard point guards or bigs, which is a luxury for Pitt if they just bow their neck and tighten up on the defensive end of the floor. But both of these teams thus far, pretty good defense in this half.
Good ball movement by the Wolfpack.
And they've done a great job at keeping Dennis Smith out of the lane.
Henderson, nice take by Terry Henderson.
Good ball movements, and one of the ways to beat the zone is to attack gaps, and that's what Terry Henderson did on the possession.
A little more than 7 minutes gone by, 10-7 NC State. Trying to snap a 3-game losing streak in the ACC. Traveling called. That's on Sheldon Jeter, and it'll be NC State ball.
Well, when you're closing out, and Sheldon Jeter, one of their better defenders, really poor closeout. And like we talked about, Rich, one of their problems is guarding the basketball one-on-one. When you close out to a three-point shooter like Rowan is, two high hands, your knees are bent, which means your head is below his shoulders, so that if he does bounce it, you're low enough where you can move your feet. And a nice line.
Absolutely. And Torn Dorn, the beneficiary, he gets the bucket and the foul. He'll go to the line to try to complete the three-point play.
Well, this big fella is so talented at 7 foot, and not only can he rebound and score, a terrific passer. Rich, Omer Yurtseven last May in an under-18 game for Turkey. Are you ready for this? 91 points, 28 rebounds, and 5 blocks. And I was talking to him a couple weeks ago. I said, Omer, was it 3-on-3 or 5? He was insulting. He goes, no. He goes, 5-on-5, 5 versus 5. And then he said they took him out with 2.5 minutes to play. He wanted to try to get 100. But really talented, really skilled. But I'll tell you one thing he needs to do. He needs to come back to NC State because this kid needs to get stronger and bigger. And he'll do that with the Wolfpack.
Smith off the turnover. Big throwdown for the freshman sensation, Dennis Smith Jr. He's good for one of those a game, at least.
Very explosive and elite athlete at the point guard position.
Coming off a 31-point effort last time out, albeit in a loss. Largest lead of the game for the Wolfpack. They wanted the offensive foul, and Mark Gottfried's not going to get it. He was fired up about the defense for the Pack, though.
Well, we're looking at a kid right here with elite athleticism. Incredible lift when he jumps, and man, put that one down with force. That's an aggressive take right there.
Early candidate for an SC top 10 play later on tonight on SportsCenter. Dennis Smith Jr.
Mark not happy with the call. But you know what? When you're emotional like that on the sidelines, he's just trying to get his guys to be a little bit energized as well.
Jones misses the front end of the 1-and-1. And here's Smith. But a foul before the shot. 11:57 to go, 15-7, largest lead of the game for NC State. And you know about Mark Gottfried and Kevin Stallings as head coaches. But coming up, we'll take you back in the day. Coaches as players. Stay tuned. Back in Raleigh, where the NC State Wolfpack have a 15-7 lead over Pitt, 11:57 to go in the first half. And Kevin Stallings has 467 career coaching wins. Mark Gottfried, 398 career coaching wins. But if you go back about 3 decades, Dino, these guys were ballers. Kevin Stallings was part of a Purdue team in 1980 that made it to the Final Four. Mark Gottfried, part of an Alabama program, where in his stead, they went to 3 straight Sweet 16s.
Both of these guys were really good players. Kevin Stallings really could defend. Mark Gottfried, a terrific shooter. Mark kept a little more of his hair than Kevin did.
Yeah, the hairlines are a little bit different. And we were joking with Kevin Stallings that we were talking about his playing days. He said that must have been a really short conversation.
A foul on the post up as NC State was about to run that UCLA offense again. I'll tell you, really impressed with Omer Yurtseven right now. He's on the backboard. He's creating offense off of passes. And we're seeing Pitt go zone on the baseline out of bounds, Rich. When you're playing zone, you better talk and point, making sure you're communicating as to who you have.
Number 11, Markel Johnson, the youngster running the point now for NC State, misses off the window. And Pitt comes away with it. But it went out of bounds.
Boy.
Sheldon Jeter couldn't track it down.
When things are going bad for you, those are the kind of plays that happen.
6th turnover of the game for Pitt, and it was an unforced error.
Yeah.
If there ever was one.
That's a great call, but you got to grab that ball, gather yourself, and be heading the other way.
And right in front of Coach, too. Huh?
Yeah. See, Rich, they called a walk right there, but that's a bad closeout defensively by Chris Jones. I know you want to chase NC State off the 3-point line. This is a team that shoots 38 from threes, but you got to go out there under control. Now, we saw Pittsburgh start this game with a post up from Artis, and now looks like they're trying to post him again. I was about to say they got to post him, especially with Johnson on it.
26 points a game, hasn't had many touches so far. 10 on the shot clock. Johnson drains the 3-pointer. That is their first made field goal in over 8 minutes.
Well, Cameron Johnson, a streaky shooter, but a much improved shooter, 39% from behind the line.
That's his 40th triple of the year for Cam Johnson. Inside, Yurtseven. And a sloppy pass forces the turnover. Here's Jones, transition 3. And Yurtseven already in double digits in the rebound department.
Well, I like what he's doing, especially on the offensive boards.
Spot up 3, no good. Jeter clears for Pitt. Here's Jones in transition.
And that's what we said, Rich. One of the problems defensively for both Pittsburgh and NC State is conversion defense, keeping guys from running the break. Really poor transition defense that time for NC State.
That's what Mark Gottfried told us yesterday, pointed that out as one of the main keys to winning this game and getting off this 3-game losing skid. We have to play defense, especially in transition.
Now, there's really good help by Pittsburgh in the zone defensively when Smith tried to go baseline.
7 to shoot. Johnson finds Henderson for 3, short.
Now, that's a really good defensive possession by Pitt. You know what I loved about it, Rich, at the end? Contested the shot hard.
And Jeter knocks down his first bucket of the night, and now we have ourselves a 1-point game, courtesy of this Pitt Panthers 7-0 run.
Well, any offense that Sheldon Jeter gives you is a positive because he does all the little things for Pittsburgh. Leads them in offensive rebounding. Jeter leads them in blocks and steals. That's a big plus if he's scoring for you.
Inside, Yurtseven, an easy 2 off the assist from Henderson. Omer Yurtseven, averaging just under 7 a game, has 4 in the first half against the Panthers. Here's Artis, 26 points a game, and now he has a chance at a 3-point play and a chance to tie this game up at 17.
Well, tough matchup for Markel Johnson at only 6'1", guarding a 6'7" guy. They tried to post him initially the prior possession, but a great take. And you're seeing one of the things that Artis does so well. With his size, can finish through contact at the rim.
How about Jamel Artis' night the other night against Louisville? 43 points, 15 for 22 from the field, 7 for 13 from 3. Rick Pitino said he had a Steph Curry-like performance against them.
Well, Rich, he's not a point guard. He's not your traditional point guard, and Pittsburgh has struggled with that. Remember last year, James Robinson was terrific point guard,
right.
Great assist-turnover ratio.
Led the nation.
Led the nation, and but this guy's not a true point guard, and he's a scorer. That happened to me one time, and when you put a guy out there like that, when I was coaching at Army, you come out of huddles, they're not sure what you're running. He's learning the position, and it's difficult if you're not a traditional point guard to run offense.
Now they have young number 5, Justin Kithcart, in there. Kithcart, a 6'5" freshman out of nearby Durham, North Carolina, so playing in front of some family and friends, no doubt. And he's going to be running the show now for Kevin Stallings' Panthers as we see the 3rd foul committed by the big man Abdul Malik Abu. Some early foul trouble for Mark Gottfried's club. And Abu goes back to the bench. Scored the first points of this game, but now he's saddled with 3 fouls.
And he's one of the guys that can produce points for you on the inside for NC State, because that's where they're struggling, Rich, the latter few games. Trying to get point productivity on the interior.
Freshman Corey Manigault way off the mark on that 1-and-1 opportunity. Would have given Pitt the lead. Here's Rowan. Knocks down the 3.
Well, much better shot. His legs were underneath of him. Good lift. And that's what he brings to the table. He's a terrific three-point shooter. They need that element. He was one of the 2 guys with Dennis Smith who was in double figures against Georgia Tech on Sunday night.
Rowan's 20th three-pointer of the year. He had 14 last year against Pitt. Tough shot in the lane. Henderson clears. Under 8 minutes to go in the first half. NC State has led virtually from the opening tip. Here's Rowan. Heat check, too strong. And it's cleared by Jeter.
One of the things Pittsburgh is doing well, keeping Dennis Smith out of the lane. Only 1 for 4 from the field thus far for the stellar freshman.
Where does the offense come from for the Panthers now? No Artist, no Young on the floor.
Well, you're going to have to spread it out a little bit, Rich. And there's one guy that could score for you. But I love what Sheldon Jeter has been doing. Not a scorer for Pitt, but he's a guy that 38% from behind threes, and that's what he's doing right now, shooting well from behind the line.
We're tied at 20. We have a whistle and a foul on the floor. 7:12 to go when we come back. NC State's basketball trying to regain the lead. We got a tie ball game from PNC Arena in Raleigh, 20-all between Pitt and NC State. Dino, take us inside the play and explain the UCLA offense.
Well, NC State's struggling to score right now, 36%, but this is really good half-court offense, UCLA. And what you're going to see right now is you're going to see the screen right here, Rich, on the back screen, and then the cutters coming over the top of this back screen. Let's go ahead and roll it, guys. Terrific. That's the first option of the UCLA offense right there. And then really good zone offense by NC State. Where you want to get the ball in a zone is in the middle. That's a great look. That's a great find. Really good zone offense for NC State. And they need more of that in the half court, Rich.
We are tied at 20. Both offenses struggling. Pitt shooting 40% from the field, just 2 for 8 from beyond the arc. NC State 36% from the field, just 1 for 8 from three-point range. Now making 1 for 9 off that Smith miss.
Well, that's a bad shot. And you know what, Rich? He hasn't had many shots, so he felt like, hey, maybe it's my turn.
Rowan knocks down his second triple of the night. He has 8, and it's a 3-point NC State lead. Maverick Rowan, one of those players who is still working his way back into the rotation, missed 6 games earlier this year with a concussion. Nice look inside, and Young can't finish at the rim. Michael Young will go to the line and shoot 2, and it obviously begs the question, is that mask that he's wearing affecting his sight lines?
You know what, it might, but I think he was close enough where he could see the rim right there. I know he's disappointed in himself he didn't finish that one. He's got to go up there and dunk that thing.
Michael Young averaging just under 21 a game leads the team in rebounds with 7.6 and leads them in assists with 3.1.
But no excuse, Rich. But I tell you what, we had a kid at Wake Forest, Justin Gray, that had a broken jaw and had to play with a mask. And I tell you what, until they get used to it, it really bothers them. There's an adjustment period, and I think this young guy is still going through that. Now, he'll tell you I should have dunked that thing right there. But a little bit different playing with that mask on.
One of 2 players in Division I basketball averaging at least 20 points a game, 7.5 rebounds a game, and 3 assists a game. Dedrick Lawson, the other one, from Memphis.
A lot of zone by Pittsburgh, and reasons why. Pretty good half-court defense right now. And the other thing, they can ill afford foul trouble with guys. So if they're playing man, more susceptible to fouling.
Coming up on 6 minutes to go. Here's Young from beyond the arc.
You know what, Rich? You're seeing B.J. Anya in the game. So Young is a tough matchup for him because Young could shoot the 3, and B.J. Anya has to venture out to be on the 3-point line to guard him.
Henderson answers with a 3 of his own to give NC State back the lead. 7 points early on for Terry Henderson.
So what does Mark Godfrey do when he has a bad matchup? A little bit of zone right now by the Wolfpack. B.J. Anya staying in the restricted area arc defensively.
Deep 3, Anya with the weak side rebound. Skip pass.
Wow, good defense one-on-one by Artis.
The follow by Johnson, Markel Johnson. Listed at 6'1", that's being generous, but he's got some major ups.
Wow, number 48 in the ESPN 100. He's a talented young guy out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Here's Young. Can't get it to go. Henderson open for 3. Again. Terry Henderson, the first player in double digits. He's got 10, and the lead is back up to 6 for the Pack.
Well, what Terry Henderson needs to do is point to the passer because Markel Johnson put that one on a platter for him.
And there's a sloppy play from the Pitt Panther offense.
See, when Markel Johnson's in the game, Rich, another kick out for Henderson. Dennis Smith goes to the 2 guard.
Catch and fire. Young's got another one. Michael Young now has 9 points in the first half.
Well, because Michael Young at 6'9" and Artis 6'7", they could just elevate with those jump shots over the smaller NC State guards.
So far, Jamel Artis, his lack of scoring becoming a storyline here. Just 5 points for the ACC's top scorer, averaging 26 a game in 5 ACC contests. Young tried again. Why not? Wide open. Too strong that time. Jeter, the offensive board. And a missed opportunity for the Panthers.
But you know what, Rich? You're happy with the shot selection. You're getting good looks, and Young has been terrific as of late.
He scored their last 8 points. They still find themselves down 3.
Defensively now on number 4 and number 11 with the ball. Keep them out of the lane and close out hard on the 3-point shooters, Henderson and Rowan.
And Jeter bails him out with 5 on the shot clock. He commits the foul. NC State will be shooting free throws when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Your link to what's next. And in part by the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere.
With Debbie Antonelli and Anish Shroff at the half, what happens in Stark Vegas, Kentucky visiting Mississippi State? What is NC State doing against this Pitt zone?
Ball's not getting stuck in anyone's hands. Multiple ball reversals. Wolfpack working the ball side to side and in and out.
We're seeing some defense, too. Rich and Dino?
Defense has been optional for these two clubs, especially in ACC play, so both coaches, Kevin Stallings and Mark Gottfried, happy about that. And Mark Gottfried's got to be happy with the play of his senior, Terry Henderson.
Well, you got 6 freshmen on this NC State team. Your upperclassmen need to step up, especially when you're losing. And, man, Terry Henderson has done that in the first half. Rich, 10 points, 4 for 9 from the field. He and Rowan a pretty good first half for the Wolfpack. Henderson with 10, Rowan with 8 right now.
Henderson also has 4 rebounds and 3 assists in his 16 minutes on the floor tonight, and he is at the line shooting 1-1.
Now, this kid can really score the basketball. Had 28 points earlier in a loss to Creighton. Made 7 threes in that game. When he transferred in from WVU, we're talking about a guy that shot 39% in the Big 12.
And at 22 years old, he is the elder statesman on this young Wolfpack club. Mark Gottfried said he has a calming effect on this team.
Good shooter, quick release.
Scored 7 of the last 9 Wolfpack points. They're up by 4 with 2:50 to go. No call, turnover. Here comes number 2, Torin Dorn. And Dorn will go to the line and shoot 2.
Well, when Artis got by the guard, he just needed to take one less dribble and just elevate over B.J. Anya.
Torin Dorn, a redshirt sophomore, transferred 2 years ago from Charlotte, sat out last year.
Rich, he played for one of the great high school coaches in the state of North Carolina, and Will Robinson at Vance High School. Terrific coach, went to UNCC, as you mentioned. Conference USA Freshman of the Year when he was at Charlotte.
And some torn family ties because his dad played football, of course, at UNC. Now he's got a brother, Miles, who's playing football at North Carolina. But when no one else is playing and Torn's in action, they'll wear Wolfpack red. They just won't wear NC State name on it. They'll wear the Wolfpack red, though.
And his dad, 7 NFL seasons with the Raiders and the Rams. Pretty good genes.
5 on the shot clock. Artis, he's been quiet in the first half. And another good defensive possession, and you see how fired up the sideline is for the Wolfpack.
Absolutely, playing a little defense tonight, and everybody's getting excited about that, even the bench. Because you know what? NC State lost Sunday night, Rich. So they're playing tonight, obviously, with not much time to prep. This preparation is a lot of film work, talking about what they need to do defensively. And you know what? The guys are accepting and catching on.
Deep 3 by Johnson. Yes. Cam Johnson has his 2nd triple of the night. He has 8.
Well, that's what he does. He's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter. A lot of zone by Pittsburgh in this game.
Nice look from Smith to Dorn, who almost had a chance at a 3-point play. Instead, he'll go back to the line and shoot 2. Well, we have a Big Ten ACC doubleheader for you on ESPN Thursday night. And we start with Melo Trimble and number 25 Maryland taking on Iowa at Carver Hawkeye Arena at 7 Eastern. And when that one's over, another ACC battle between Clemson and number 12 Louisville. Louisville will be without Quentin Snyder, who's just announced yesterday he's going to miss the next 2 to 3 weeks with a hip flexor. That's a tough loss for Rick Pitino's club, coming off a big win over the weekend against Duke.
It really is a tough loss because he was playing well against Duke. Quentin Snyder, 13 points, 6 assists, 5 boards. So now Rick Pitino has to ask himself, do I take Donovan Mitchell and put him at the 1, put VJ King at the 2? Do I put Tony Hicks at the 1? So he's got to figure out what he wants to do with the loss of Quentin Snyder, who, as we said, has been playing really, really well.
Torin Dorn goes 1 for 2 from the line, giving him 4 points and giving NC State a 2-point lead. You saw the ACC standings there. Maybe the big surprise is Notre Dame undefeated at 5-0.
Wow, one of the biggest surprises, not just in this conference, but nationally. And Matt Farrell, the point guard, what a transition he has made. They haven't missed a beat without Demetrius Jackson because of the job Matt Farrell has done.
Young lost it out of bounds. It'll stay Pitt basketball. 7 on the shot clock.
But you know what I like? Young has a quickness advantage over B.J. Anya, so drive the big guy, which he did.
See if Artis gets a touch here. Dennis Smith doing a good job of defense. And they don't need Artis when Michael Young is knocking down shots.
And it is a challenge for B.J. Anya to step out beyond the three-point line and try to guard him.
Pitt with a 1-point lead under a minute to go in the first half. Here's the lob. Smith somehow finishes.
I was about to say, catch that thing with two hands and finish it.
Does that count as a dunk? I don't know.
But you're seeing his athleticism right there.
35-34. Here's Artis. Can't answer. And there's about a 2-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
You want to take this with maybe 5-6 seconds so you have a chance at an offensive rebound. We're talking shot clock right now. Got to keep Markel Johnson 11 out of the lane. Same thing with this guy. Don't let him penetrate.
3 to shoot. Smith's going to have to launch from near half court. He can't get it to go. The offensive tip is no good. And we've got a 1-point game at halftime. NC State up by 1, 35-34. Dennis Smith, one of the leading scorers in the country, one of the leading scorers in the conference, held to just 4 tonight. But the same could be said about the #1 scorer in the country, Jamel Artis, with just
this kid
4
right
points.
here, as we talked about, Richie, elite athleticism. He got hops. Good start in the first half for NC State.
We'll take you to the halftime report with Anish Shroff and Debbie Antonelli after this. All right, thank you, Rich. Sorry, a little false advertising. We built up Artis. We built up Smith before the game. Michael Young, though, with a bounce-back game. He's got a dozen for Pittsburgh. Close game at the half. Clearly, for Mark Gottfried, he did want to emphasize defense after what he saw from his team the previous 3 games.
No question, and the pace is a defensive game right now, because when you don't have your 2 scorers that you're expecting to put on some points, Dennis Smith with 4 at the half, you got to rely on your defense until you get some easy buckets off your D and get some transition opportunity.
What is NC State doing offensively against that Pittsburgh zone?
I tell you what, Anish, they are really doing a good job of moving the basketball. They're getting good ball reversal. They're getting paint touches. They're working the short corner. They have 14 made field goals, 10 of which have been assisted. They're probing the gaps. They're doing a nice job of sharing the basketball, and Terry Henderson doing a terrific job of attacking on the baseline.
Yeah, a lot of hockey assists, too, so that third guy doesn't quite get the credit in basketball. But we've got a 1-point game at the half. Both these teams 1-4 in ACC play. And this is what NC State and Pittsburgh have coming up. For the Wolfpack, a home game against Wake. Today's game is game 2 of a 3-game homestand. Then on the road for Duke, on the road for Louisville. For Pittsburgh, they get to come back home to play Louisville. Then they take on Clemson, who's in a free fall, and then at North Carolina to close out the month of January. Dennis Smith, elevation and exclamation.
Welcome to the ACC Fast Break. I am here with Dennis Smith Jr. of North Carolina State. You ready for this?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Yeezys or Jordans?
Jordans.
Age from the neck up or from the neck down?
Neck up.
J. Cole or Drake?
J. Cole.
All right. Kendall Jenner or Kylie Jenner?
Neither.
Ooh, neither. Favorite song?
Sideline story.
Juju on that beat or dab on them?
Dab.
All right. Hot sauce on chicken?
Hot sauce on chicken.
All right. Just yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Better be. There you
Okay,
go. All right.
okay.
All right. Next question up. Favorite NBA player?
CP.
One more. Best point guard in the league, Stephen Curry or Russell Westbrook?
Neither.
Who?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. There you go. Best point guard answer may be coming from one of the best point guards in the ACC this year. Dennis Smith Jr., North Carolina State.
On Texas, Chris Jones in the face. Hit down by a point. Get him, Jay.
ACC Fast Break here with Michael Young, Pittsburgh Panther. You ready for this?
Ready.
Beyonce or Kim Kardashian?
Beyonce.
One word to describe your coach.
Honest.
Okay. Yeezys or Kanye's? They're both the same. There you go. Don't think about it. They're both the same. Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Juju on that beat or dab on them?
Dab on him.
Can you give me the mission? There you go. Great. When was your first kiss?
12.
All right. How old were you when you first dunked the ball?
13.
Pre-game ritual.
Music.
A player you cannot wait to destroy in the ACC this year.
Woo!
Let it out. Let it out. Let it out.
Blossom game.
There you go. Pittsburgh versus Clemson. Coming to you soon. Michael Young, Pittsburgh Panther.
Off the Dennis Smith miss, his fellow freshman is there. The Cleveland kid, Markel Johnson. NC State by 1 at the break.
Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by CenturyLink from PNC Arena inside Raleigh, North Carolina. Rich Hollenberg, Dino Gaudio, and the whole ESPN View crew. We have a one-point game about to start the second half. NC State 35, Pitt 34. Both teams coming in with 3-game losing streaks, losers of 4 of their last 5, so they're 1-4 in ACC play. And the 2 stars for each team really haven't scored a lot, but for NC State, Terry Henderson really picked up the scoring slack.
Well, you want your 5th-year senior to go ahead and do that, step up offensively, and Terry Henderson has. And you know what a smart team does, Rich? They know he has the hot hand. They were looking for him, finding him, and he was delivering. You're seeing Markel Johnson with the penetration and the kick out, and Henderson was a great lift in the first half. Now, Michael Young, the mask didn't seem to bother him that much in this one, and a tough matchup for B.J. Anya, trying to come out and guard him. And I like what Young did, took advantage of him, because Mark Gottfried was handcuffed somewhat because Abu had 3 first-half fouls. Your 7 had 2, so tough matchup for Anya. And when NC State did go zone, Pittsburgh made 3 3-point shots, 6 of them in the first half. So we'll see with the Boo back whether he has the matchup with Michael Young right now.
And speaking of Michael Young, he scored 11 of the last Pitt points to get them back in this game and make it a one-point contest. We started off this contest bragging about the top 2 scorers in ACC play. Dennis Smith, the point guard for Mark Gottfried's NC State Wolfpack, held to just 4 points in the first half. And Jamel Artis, who's averaging 26 a game in ACC play, held to just 5 points.
But you know what, Rich, when you're coaching, you want to, number one, take away the known, and that's Artis and Smith. And both teams defensively have done that.
Yeah, they're number 1 on the scouting reports for sure. So good job by both coaches doing that.
And you saw Pittsburgh come out with the 1-3-1 zone. That's how they came back against Louisville. And there's Artis right there getting off of the NC State turnover.
Jamel Artis scored the first 2 points for Pitt. He scored the first 2 points of the second half as well.
Now, 1-3-1 trap by Pittsburgh.
You're at 7. Around and in for Omer Yurtseven, who has 6.
Now that's the middle guy in your 1-3-1 that has to pick that up. His job is to stay between the ball and the basket, and that would be Yurtseven on that possession.
And no sooner do we mention the struggles of Smith and Artis, you have a feeling one or both of them is going to go off in this half. But Cam Johnson knocks down a 3. That's Cam's 3rd triple of the night. He is the 2nd Panther in double digits with 11. Rowan off the curl. Maverick Rowan answers with a triple of his own, and he has 11.
Well, Sheldon Jeter's a really smart player. He knows he has to run him off the 3-point line. Poor decision right there by Jeter.
Maverick Rowan never saw a shot he didn't like. Here's Michael Young. Good start to the second half for Young. He's the game-high scorer with 14.
And boy, he is torturing the NC State centers, isn't he?
That brand new mask that he got shipped to the hotel room this morning, working out just fine for Michael Young.
Wow.
Look out if Rowan gets hot.
Rich, I would lose my mind with guys like this. I would say, listen, if he shoots another 3, you're coming out. Not if he makes it. Get up on him, make him bounce the ball.
He's made 4 tonight. And he's got 12 in his last 4 games. Here's Young, wide open.
Wow, wow.
17 for Michael Young, a 1-point Pittsburgh lead. Here's Markel Johnson, who started the second half in place of Malik Abu, who's saddled with foul trouble.
Well, we've seen Pittsburgh now play 3 defenses, 1-3-1, 1-2-2, and man-to-man, and we haven't played 3 minutes in the second half yet.
Here's Young. Too strong, weak side rebound, Aroa. Here's Smith. Matched his jersey number with just 4 points in the first half. Season low for Dennis Smith, if you're wondering, is 11.
And we're seeing with Johnson again on the point, Dennis Smith goes to the off guard. Nice take by Markel Johnson off the dribble penetration. Ball screen defense right there for Pittsburgh lacking.
You see how blazing fast the young Johnson is. And there's a pickoff by Johnson. He'll have another easy 2. Back-to-back buckets from the 6'1" freshman out of Cleveland, Markel Johnson. And NC State's back up 3.
Well, you know what Markel Johnson gives you? Terrific energy. Plays with force, great energy for NC State.
And by having him at the point, it allows Dennis Smith to play off the ball.
Exactly, and if Smith has it, he'll bust out dribble and bring it up. It takes a little pressure off of him as well.
Johnson looked good off his hand. Offensive rebound and a chance at a 3-point play for Michael Young.
Well, what Markel Johnson does, he brings you a quick attacking guard. And with Young on him, nice rub-off screen right there by Yurt-7. And then the steal and in transition. A talented young freshman point guard, Rich. When Smith goes to the league next year, Mark Gottfried will give this guy the ball.
And Michael Young has been a man among boys. Had his mask knocked off his face just now, but that mask has not caused him any trouble.
None.
From the first about 2 minutes of this game.
And we talked about the last game. The one he had was a little cumbersome. It really bothered him. He said he didn't have full vision. And what a distraction that is. It's almost like a racehorse with those blinders on. If you can't see, it's going to bother you.
Yeah, Kevin Stallings said he had to almost lean forward to see anything. Went 0 for 10 from the field against Miami, but it's a different Michael Young tonight. There's a triple by Dennis Smith, and as we said, don't be surprised if Smith and Artis go off in the second half.
And Dennis Smith pointed a passer. Markel Johnson, lovely baseline drive for the find.
There's an easy 2 at the other end. Chris Jones with his 6th point of the night. And both offenses looking like they're clicking a lot better than they did in the first half.
And both of these teams in the second half thus far, man, shooting before the shot clock gets to 20.
Does that benefit one team over the other?
No, they both want to play fast offensively.
There's another 3. Terry Henderson, his first bucket of the second half, gives him 14.
Well, Mark Gottfried talked about guys stepping up when we're losing, and you're hoping that's your upperclassman. Terry Henderson has really done that in this game.
How about NC State starting this half 7 for 8 from the field? Pittsburgh, not much worse, 6 for 8 from the field. Here's Artis. 10 to shoot. Artis does. Got it.
Terrific lift, elevation on his jump shot. And when he gets so high, you can't contest that shot.
Well, we wanted to see offense. We're getting it in the second half. Both teams have combined 14 for 17 in the opening moments of the second half.
We're seeing it from 2 seniors. Henderson's one, Artis for Pittsburgh. The other season has really stepped up.
Let's take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch. They have whittled the list down to 25 at the midway point of the season, Dino, and no fewer than 5 ACC players representing the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Rich, I did a game a couple weeks ago, Florida State at Virginia. Dwayne Bacon hits the game winner. He's really special. And I'll tell you, when Joel Berry is healthy, in the loss at Georgia Tech, he had a little bit of a virus and it bothered them, but he's terrific. And craziness happening at Duke right now. A lot of distractions, injuries. Coach K's out, but Luke Kennard has been sensational thus far this season for the Blue Devils.
Well, all those injuries to the youngsters that the Duke Blue Devils faced allowed Luke Kennard to get into that starting lineup, and it's tough to take him out now. He's been sensational.
Hey, Rich, I was at practice in October. He was on the second team. I mean, he wasn't with the first unit, and then when the opportunity presented itself, man, did he take advantage of it and run.
There's a nice take by Smith. And Smith has a couple of quick buckets in the second half. He has 9, and the lead is up to 4 again for NC State. scorching shooting from both teams to start this second half.
Well, you just don't play this game with your body. Michael Young saw that he was being chased offensively, so he curled into the lane. A wonderful read, which created the shot for him.
Michael Young right on his scoring average already with 14-15 to go. 21 game-high honors for Young. And we have a jump ball. It'll be possession Pitt when we return. 14-12 to go. We've got a good one from PNC in Raleigh. The Pack and the Panthers. Well, Kevin Stallings is widely regarded as one of the best offensive minds in college basketball. But Dino, take us inside the play. Sometimes your bread and butter is your best bet.
Well, it's just simple. And what you're seeing right here is a little bit of a down screen curl. So watch the screen come right now. And a good veteran player is going to curl off of this. But this guy right here, Rich, he's going to get caught up in that screen. We can go ahead and run it. And Dorn, when he comes in, that's a terrific screen by the offense, Chris Jones. And a good read by a veteran player, Michael Young.
Michael Young certainly with the hot hand in this game, a game-high 21 points. And he has really picked up the scoring slack since Jamel Artis, who's averaging 26 in conference play coming in, has been held to just 10 so far.
Rich, young guys don't understand. Like when you're on offense, sometimes they're always watching the ball. But you need to watch your man when you're on offense because he'll tell you how to cut. That's a great read by Michael Young right there.
Here's Young, guarded by Dorn.
Good
and
call.
The foul on Dorn. We got a Big Ten ACC doubleheader coming up for you on ESPN Thursday night. We start with Melo Trimble and number 25 Maryland taking on the Hawkeyes at 7 Eastern. Then when that one's over, it's Clemson. Jerron Blossom game goes into Louisville to take on the number 12 Cards. Both games streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
How about Maryland? 9-week absence and they're back in the poll at number 25. Beat Indiana, beat Illinois. Melo's getting 17 a game, and the freshman Anthony Cowan has been sensational. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists a game for Maryland.
Here's Jeter for 3, and the hot shooting from the Panthers continues.
You know what Cowan being inserted into the Maryland lineup does? Takes Melo Trimble off the ball a little bit and takes some pressure off him.
Rowan again, his 3rd triple of the half. He has 5 in the game.
Kevin Stallings has to be losing his mind with this kid shooting and making threes.
16th lead change of the contest. NC State back up 2. Artis, too strong. But the long rebound goes to Jones. Here's Smith in traffic. Johnson. No. Good offensive board by Rowan.
That's a great effort play by Maverick Rowan. Saves you a possession. That's what you're looking for out of your upperclassmen when you're in a losing streak.
Smith so strong with the ball, gives it up to Henderson. Abu back in the game with 3 fouls, gives it up. 8 on the shot clock. Now 5 to shoot. Smith, tough to stop, but he missed it at close range.
Wanted the foul on that play, Rich.
Here's Johnson, measures it and knocks it down. 14 for Cam Johnson. And the threes are falling from the sky in PNC Arena.
Well, we got one team, Pittsburgh, shooting 71% from the field in the second half. And how about NC State? 9 for 12 from the field thus far.
Both teams have made 5 3-pointers in this half. They're better off going behind the arc. They're not getting anything at the rim. Tough shot and 1 for Jamel Artis. We had a feeling this was going to happen. The top scorer in the ACC has himself a dozen and a chance to make it 13 when we come back. 11:44 to go in the game.
Pitt's largest lead thus far with the help of Jamel Artis.
Another rockin' tune from the Dino Gaudio playlist. And now you're up to date on what's been going on in this Pitt and NC State game. A very slow first half for both clubs. It was 35-34 NC State at the break, and both have come out firing away and knocking down shot after shot. Michael Young leads all scorers with 21. Jamel Artis has come alive. He has 12. And now NC State's going to need their star, Dennis Smith, to answer in kind. But it's Artis at the line, the old man. At 24 years old, Jamel Artis, a 6'7" senior out of Baltimore, leading the ACC in scoring with 26 points a game, is finally starting to get on track here in PNC Arena. He has 13 now.
Rich, coaches in the huddle got to be saying, fellas, we gotta take away the known. Like Maverick Rowan, 5 for 7 from threes. Henderson, 3 for 8. We got to chase those guys off the three-point line. On the other side, Cam Johnson comes in shooting 39 from threes, and he's been on fire from behind the line thus far.
Both teams just 1-4 in ACC play, have lost 3 straight games and 4 of their last 5. Would not be an understatement to say this is a desperate win for either team. Nice take, and Markel Johnson has been a real energy giver off the bench for Mark Godfrey.
Well, I love the recognition out of Markel Johnson because Pitt switched the ball screen, and Young was on Johnson. He had a quickness advantage, and he took him off the dribble.
How about number 11, Markel Johnson? 8 points, 6 dimes tonight, Dino.
He gives them energy, Rich. Comes in, plays hard, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion.
7 to shoot. Young connects again.
Boy.
He could shoot from all over the floor.
Well, you know what he has, almost an NBA game. He's got this, the pull-up, the step-back jumper. And because of his size, he could shoot right over top of Torn Dorn.
10:39 to go. Both teams shooting lights out in the second half, especially Michael Young, who has 23.
Well, we see the switch, and now you got Michael Young on Markel Johnson, and I like the point guard. Great recognition. Don't settle for a jump shot where he can contest it with his size. Go by him. That's a really intelligent play.
An 8-2 Pitt run has them up by 4, 64-60. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. What do you think Mark Gottfried's telling his club right now?
Well, he's got to talk about defense in the huddle, of course, right? And then, you know what, Rich? I know he only has 9 points, but I'd maybe go some kind of ball screen action for Smith. I got to get my guy going a little bit on offense. But when you're in a huddle and you're playing a team like Pittsburgh that's changed defense so much, you got to give them an offensive play and a defensive play, regardless of where you are in the game and on the floor.
And what a nightmare matchup for any coach to face this Pitt Panther team. Artis and Young, one of 2 players that play for the same school that average over 20 a game. The other one is Davidson, Bob McKillop's club, led by Jack Gibbs and Peyton Aldridge. Here's Smith. Gives it up.
Good defense by Pittsburgh.
2 to shoot. Henderson, tough shot. No. Abu the rebound, blocked by Jeter. And here comes Johnson. And the travel call on Young at the middle of the floor.
Well, usually with his size, he could handle that pass right there. It wasn't under control.
Michael Young, number 1 active players in points in the ACC, number 3 active all-time in rebounds. And he's done it tonight, 23 points for number 2 in blue, Michael Young, the 6'9" senior from Duquesne.
Really good defensive possession by Pittsburgh last time. Let's see if they could do it again. UCLA offense by NC State right now.
And they had a switch on defense, which Kevin Stallings is wont to do. He switched 1 through 5. Just now he had Jeter on Smith. He's surprised Smith didn't try to take him to the hole.
Well, he needed the ball on that UCLA cut, Rich. But what your 7 should have done with kick card on him was post him.
Smith almost lost it. Gets it back in the corner for 3. Not this time. Ball goes out of bounds off Panthers. It'll stay NC State basketball.
Kevin Stallings telling these guys, rebound with 2 hands. Your 7 was inhaling rebounds in the first half. He needs a few more here in the second for NC State, especially offensively.
He's got 11 in the game, number 14 in white. Here's Rowan. He's had a hot hand from beyond the arc.
Well, look how tight Cameron Johnson is on him. To get up on him, that's what you want him to do.
Rowan the pull-up, in and out.
That's not what he's comfortable doing right there, going off the bounce. So that's pretty good defense by Pitt again.
And that's going to be a foul on your 7, so it'll be Pitt basketball with a 4-point lead. Both of these teams no strangers to close games, and games decided by 5 points or less. NC State undefeated, 4-0 this year. Pitt 5-2.
But how about Pittsburgh's schedule? The 9th strength of schedule in the nation.
There's Johnson with his 5th three-pointer of the night. He has 17. An 11-2 Panthers run.
And you know, Rich, they're scoring, but they're getting stops on the other end, which is big for Pittsburgh.
They are 6 for 9 from 3 in this half.
So you see what else Pittsburgh's doing when Smith comes off the ball screens? They're doubling him. They're making him try to force him nearer midcourt so that he has to give the ball up. So great strategy by Kevin Stallings to take the ball out of this kid's hands right now.
And I might be damning him with faint praise, but good job out of Dennis Smith not trying to force the issue too much.
Exactly. He's really a smart point guard. You can't play this game from that position with just your body. You got to play it with your mind as well, and he does.
NC State was matching Pitt shot for shot at the start of this half, but since then they've gone cold. 1 for their last 8. And the hand check foul is going to go on Johnson.
Maverick Rowan making his dad Ron proud, right? Played for Louis Carnesecca at St. John's. How about that team? Chris Mullen, Walter Berry, Jackson, Bill Wennington with Rowan. Pretty nice deck Louis had.
Here's Yurtseven. Pretty move by the youngster out of Turkey. Omer Yurtseven has 8. 5-point ball game. NC State in danger of losing their 2nd straight at home.
And zone defense by NC State. They got to press up to 3-point shooters now in this zone.
Here's Young. Tough shot, and he got it to go. 5 straight made field goals by these Pitt Panthers, and 25 for Young on the night. 5 off his career high of 30. Here's Henderson. Too strong. Yurtseven, the offensive board, and he pulled the string. Here's Henderson, follows it.
And you know what? Offensive rebounding is just an effort area, and NC State brought it on that possession.
Neither team lacking in the effort department tonight.
No, both teams playing hard, Rich. Both of them need this game badly.
Ten to shoot. Kithcart. And a chance to make it a 1-possession ball game for NC State. Henderson from the corner. Got it.
Boy, the one more pass from Rowan to Henderson. Really good offense by NC State.
19 now for Terry Henderson. It's a 2-point ball game.
Look at Pittsburgh. No one in the post right now for them.
And a foul by NC State with 8 on the shot clock. 6.5 to go. Pitt trying to snap their 3-game losing streak. They're up 2 on the road, 69-67.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting more than just places. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Well, what started out as a defensive struggle in the first half has turned into an offensive juggernaut in the second half. Super Tuesday presented by CenturyLink. In the ACC, 2 teams desperate for a win in late January, and Pitt has a 2-point lead on the road at NC State with 6:29 to go. Dino, 12 3-pointers hit combined by both teams, and they've only attempted 17 of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh with 12 threes, as you mentioned, Rich, 1 off of their season high of 13. And they did that against Virginia and put 88 on the board in an overtime game, albeit, against the Cavaliers. And you know what? They're on track to do that again.
Just a glimpse into what this Pitt Panther team could be. Belies their 1-4 record in conference.
One more. See, Rich, you're seeing artists got to see things through a bigger lens, like a point guard would. That pass to the corner was wide open. He should have made the pass. Sometimes he's a terrific player, a little too ball-centric.
6:24 to go. NC State with the ball and a chance to take the lead with a 3 or tie it with a 2.
Scorers have to be good passers because they draw secondary defenders.
I don't know if it's too early to call this a must-win, especially for NC State, but they're in the middle of their second of 3 straight games at home. And if there's one thing you need to know about the ACC, you got to hold serve on your home court.
Well, I love what Pittsburgh did on the possession. They ran at Rowan, made him put the ball on the floor, chased him off the 3-point line.
Six minutes to go. Artis is back in the game. He has the ball, number 1 in blue. Leading scorer in the ACC, left wide open for 3, and he missed it.
And a good shot. You're happy with that shot if you're Kevin Stallings.
And I'm sure Mark Godfrey feels like he got away with one there, but on this end, the foul's going to go on Abu, his 4th.
Well, I'll tell you what, big loss. He's been playing with fouls. 3 in the first half. That's his 4th right now. Mark has to get him out of there. Let's see if he, well, 5.5. Is he leaving him in? Yeah, you want your big guy posting him nice, taking him out. You want that guy posting up in the lane right there. Big call against NC State.
Here's Artis. He's open. Got it. And had a shot altered by Henderson.
Boy, 2 guys always on Smith when he tries to penetrate. Really good defense by Pitt.
Smith's been held to just 9 points in this contest. His season low is 11.
Now in the zone, you got to find Henderson and you got to find Rowan. Nice
Yurt
pass.
7 with the throwdown. Double digits for Omer Yurt 7. A 7-0 NC State run has knotted this game up at 69.
How about Markel Johnson with the dime? 7 assists thus far for the freshman from Cleveland, Ohio.
Here's Young. No. Offensive rebound. Jones. More of that New Jersey toughness.
Yeah, there you go. Little Rich Hollenberg jersey guy.
71-69. Back and forth we go. Here's Henderson.
Boy, Pitt fortunate right there. Well, you know, one of the things you could do against the zone is screen it. That's what Yurt 7 does. Terrific pocket pass from Markel Johnson. Johnson, big impact on this game right now with 7 assists. Only 1 turnover for the freshman. Hey, when you're in zone like Pitt is, you should be seeing guys pointing, and you should hear voices because you're talking.
Here's Henderson. Missed the dunk. Artis down the left side. Here's Young. Too strong. Coming up on 4 minutes to go.
Should have threw it. He had Yurt 7 on the post up.
Rowan, spot up, got it. Maverick Rowan has 6 3-pointers tonight.
Boy, I tell you what a quick release. He caught it chest high, never dipped the ball. Nice elevation, terrific follow through.
A season high 20 for number 24 in white, Maverick Rowan. They try to find him in the corner, but it's picked off by Johnson. Good hands by the Panthers D.
Boy, just as I was giving Markel Johnson so much love with only 1 turnover. See, Rich, this is when you don't have a true point guard out there. What are we running? Artis has to get us in some kind of offense.
With 7, another rebound. That's 15 on the night for him. He's got himself a double-double.
Well, you're seeing one of Pittsburgh's Achilles heels right now. They don't have a post-up game where you could throw it inside.
Well, Maverick Rowan, 6 3-pointers on the night. His last one gives him 20, and it gives the NC State Wolfpack back the lead by 1. 72-71, under 3 to go from PNC. Unfinished indeed, Anish, and Kevin Stallings' former team coming up after us here, but his current team, the Pitt Panthers, trailing by 1 on the road against NC State, 72-71. Jamel Artis, number 1, has been held relatively in check. He has 13 points, but Michael Young, number 2, has really stepped up, 25 points to lead all scorers, and yet this NC State bench has really come to play and really telling the big factor in this contest.
No question, Rich. It's been outstanding. I think Markel Johnson has given him terrific minutes off the bench. And the one thing with Pittsburgh on offense, they really have no inside game, no post-up game, someone that they could throw the ball to on the blocks, whether it's zone or man. There's the trap on the ball screen of Dennis Smith.
They get it to your 7. Nowhere to go. Why not give it to Rowan? Can't hit that time, and look who gets the rebound.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you do the intangibles like Markel Johnson does, loose balls, rebounds, creates on offense, there's a place for you, and he's been outstanding tonight.
Look at that edge. 28 for Pittsburgh, plus 12 for NC State. Here's your 7. Blocked by Young out of bounds.
You know what he's going to learn how to do, Rich? He's going to shoot that ball with his left hand away from the defender, or he'll pump fake the guy. Shot that ball with his right hand right into the defense.
5 on the shot clock. And an offensive foul called? Is that right? Yes. Offensive foul called on Dennis Smith. It's been a frustrating night for the preseason freshman of the year in the ACC, Dennis Smith. 4 for 12 from the field, just 2 rebounds, and commits the costly turnover there.
Plenty of time for heroics from number 4 and White if he wants to deliver.
Good hands by Johnson. He's been the most active player on the floor.
Another hustle play by Markel Johnson.
And Pitt's offense has come in fits and starts. They were really cold to start. They started the second half completely on fire, but they've only had 1 made field goal in over 6 minutes, Dino.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rich, like this little guy here, number 11, has been really impactful. Number 48, an ESPN top 100. Now, we can go to the monitor here under 2 minutes. If there's a question.
That looked like it was definitely off number 2, Michael Young. It should be NC State ball, and that was the original call.
Good call by our officials.
Ron Groover, Jeffrey Anderson, James Breeding, the officiating crew tonight. So NC State will have the ball up 1, 1:53 to go. They also have the possession arrow as well. You need a bucket here if you're NC State. What are you going to draw?
The guy with the ball is going to create for us, and if we're seeing 1-3-1 defense out of Pittsburgh, so let's go short corner or the middle.
Smith.
You know what, Rich? When you're in that defense, there's 3 guys looking at the ball. There's no way you can let Dennis Smith put that on the floor and get to the basket. The middle of the 1-3-1, his job is to stay between the ball and the basket.
Smith averaging 21 a game in conference play, held to just 10 so far tonight. And Kevin Stallings calls a timeout in between free throws. Pitt has 1 timeout remaining. Well, make sure you stay tuned after the Michigan-Wisconsin game tonight. It'll be SportsCenter at night on ESPN with John Anderson and Nicole Briscoe. Highlights and breakdowns from all the college hoops and NBA action. the NHL. The Australian Open is underway from Sydney. NFL playoff news and everything else. That's SportsCenter at night after Super Tuesday Hoops on ESPN. Well, when you look at the ACC standings, it certainly is a who's who in the top 25. 6 teams in this conference in the top 25. And after that, it becomes anybody's guess, because Joe Lunardi right now is predicting 10 ACC teams in the Big Dance.
Well, Rich, this is the best conference in America, and I don't care what metrics you use, whether it's historical, 16 national champions, 7 in the last 16 years, 62 Final Fours, or you go more contemporary like last year. 6 teams in the Sweet 16, 19 NCAA tournament wins, and this could be a historic year for the ACC. Now, we know in 2011, the Big East had 11 teams in. ACC could match that this year.
A 12-2 Wolfpack run has put them up by 3 with a minute and a half left. But 3 has been the magic number for the Pitt Panthers, especially in the second half. Pitt 6 for 11 from beyond the arc in this half.
Can't go around the zone. You got to go at it.
Here's another triple try. Jeter, no. The rebound goes to Henderson, and he's fouled.
Yeah, Pittsburgh just going left to right around the zone. When you see that zone, short corner, high post, or attack gaps in the zone. Like I said, Rich, they're making threes. We know they got 12 of them already tonight, but you just can't settle for jump shots. You got to keep attacking the basket.
Mark Gottfried and the NC State Wolfpack looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 4 of 5 in conference play.
Now, you want to see Pittsburgh extending your defense right here.
One minute to go.
1 minute.
Got to find where 24 and White is.
He's at the bottom of your screen. Right corner. That's Maverick Rowan. Here's Smith with the ball. 8 to shoot. Let's see if he creates for himself. Step back. Jumper. No. Artist the rebound. A 3 ties it for the Panthers.
Yeah, not a good shot by NC State and Dennis Smith.
Here's Young. He leads all scorers with 25. Artis for 3 and the tie. No. And Yurtseven another rebound. Omer Yurtseven has 16 rebounds.
Wow, the young fella has been inhaling the rebounds tonight in this game.
I know Omer Yurtseven will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. He's 8 for 12 from the free throw line this season.
It's like I said, Pittsburgh is just settling from going around the zone instead of going at the zone. Terrific young talent. Now, he left Turkey because he was on one of the pro teams there, and he wasn't getting any playing time. This young guy needs to stay at NC State, put on some strength. We're looking at his skill set, which is outstanding.
How about that for a clutch free throw?
Yeah, I mean, beautiful stroke. But also, the same thing will happen to him. He'll be in the D-League next year. 7 foot, terrific touch. Wow, shot.
That's a dozen for Yurtseven, and it makes it a 2-possession ball game.
Attack the basket. There you go.
And dangerously close to having a chance at a 3-point play is Jamel Artis. Instead, he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
I think they should have been doing this a little more, Rich. Attacking the zone off the dribble.
So Artis at the line, 2 shots, a 71% free throw shooter on the season.
Pittsburgh 1 timeout.
And he front rims it.
Now, Kevin Stalling doesn't have many options because he has a short bench, but I'd like to put a guy at the bench or at the table right now so that if this one goes in, you could set up your defense. That was a big miss right there. Come up now.
Pitt coming off their worst home loss at the Peterson Event Center in history. Last time out, they lost to Miami 72-46. And now in dire straits of losing their 4th straight contest in the ACC. And 5th out of their last 6. It's a 4-point NC State lead, 12.3 to go, and Mav Rowan at the line, shooting 1-1.
You know what, Rich? Big difference between excuses for losing and reasons for losing. Pittsburgh without one of their better players tonight, Ryan Luther. A very short bench for Kevin Stallings. I tell you, when you're sitting there, you're standing there on the sideline, and you look down that bench, and you don't have any options. That's a tough spot to be in. And then you're playing without a point guard, because Jamel Artis is not a traditional point guard. Doesn't think like a point guard.
Rowan at the line, shooting 1-1. Panthers will have a week off to lick their wounds if they end up on the losing end of this one. They'll take on the Louisville Cardinals next Tuesday at home at the Peterson Event Center. We'll be there for that game. Next up for the Wolfpack, they finish up a 3-game homestand against Wake Forest.
Boy, not an intelligent foul right there by a really intelligent player in Dennis Smith. Yeah, why? Mark Godfrey, why? Why do that? And you know what? Mark's had some struggles as of late, but same thing, Rich. He has a really young team, 6 freshmen. Dennis Smith never played last year. Torrin Dorn never played last year. Terry Henderson, you're at 7. So a young group and a group that hasn't played a lot together. Still trying to build some cohesiveness.
Pitt down 5. Make it 4 with that Artis free throw.
Could be back to a 1-possession game right here. So you want to deny all entry passes. Don't let the ball inbounds, and if it comes in, we have to foul immediately. But we're trying to get a 5 count or a steal if this ball goes in the net.
Artis hits them both. Jeter along the baseline. And there's the turnover.
No one touched it, so it's a 5 count.
So it'll be Pitt basketball with 6.3 to go.
Now Kevin has
and Kevin Stallings is quick to round up the troops.
Well, he's got a timeout right now, so he could set up, and obviously he needs to set up a 3. And you're probably going to see him go to Artis or Young on this play right here.
What a turn of events, and it was precipitated by the foul by Dennis Smith earlier on.
Well, really good job of Pittsburgh transitioning into defense after the made free throw. Now, if you're Mark Godfrey, you ask yourself, Rich, we're up 3. Do I foul? Do I foul right here, up 3? Really good job of denying right now. Really good job of denying right there, but Mark Gottfried has a decision to make. I'm up 3. Do I foul up 3? And you know what, Rich? He made this decision in October. There's no right, no wrong. You practice it in time and score situations, so let's see what he does right here.
Back-to-back bad plays by Dennis Smith Jr. A consensus 5-star recruit, the #1 point guard coming out of high school a year ago, has been nothing short of scintillating this season, averaging 19.5, 4 rebounds, 6 assists a game. But tonight, he's been corralled by the Pitt defense. Only 11 points, a costly foul that led to free throws by Artis. He knocked them both down, and then he threw the ball away on the inbounds.
Well, I don't care if you're a point guard like this kid or whatever. Your skill set is really important, and he has a terrific skill set. But your decision-making is just as important as your skill set. An unintelligent foul, as we saw, as Pitt was bringing it up, and then the turnover right here. So interesting to see what Mark Godfrey does defensively right here.
There was 6.3 on the clock. The officials looked at it at the scorer's table, added 0.6 seconds. So now there's 6.9 to go. Plenty of time for Kevin Stallings to set up some type of a 3-point shot to try to tie the game What do you think he does here, Dino?
Well, he has to. I think he absolutely has to set up a three. Now, he's got some options because some guys are really shooting the ball well from behind the three-point line. Michael Young, Johnson. Now, Artis has, and he's 1 for 6 for 3. But you know what? When the game's on the line, I trust Jamel Artis to take the shot.
Now the officials, upon a further review, have taken those 0.6 seconds back off the clock. It doesn't really matter, 0.6 seconds when you have that much time. Kevin Stallings will hopefully get the shot off that he wants, depending on how much defense this NC State team plays.
Well, right now, defensively, you want to switch all screens. And if you're not going to foul, we got to make sure we make him miss by contesting. Don't hope they miss.
Officials, I guess, Dino, they split the difference.
Yeah.
They said 6.9, 6.3. We'll settle on 6.6. Dennis Smith Jr. will guard the inbounds pass coming from Chris Jones, number 12 for Pitt.
Now watch, they just pre-switched the screen. Henderson and you're 7.
Both teams have 1 timeout remaining.
If you're ready and you know, clap your hands. If you're ready and you know, clap your hands. If you're ready and you know, don't get ready. So if you're ready.
They get it to Young, who kicks it out. Here's Johnson. He missed it from 3.
I'll tell you what, though, Rich, they got a really good look. A really good look.
A well-designed play by one of the best offensive minds in college basketball in Kevin Stallings, but the shot by Johnson was pretty well off the mark.
And you know what? He's a guy that's 5 for 10 from threes in this game right now.
Shoots it at a 39% clip coming in. And as you saw, Kevin Stallings signaling timeout immediately.
Well, when the officials were deciding whether it was 6.3s, Kevin didn't burn that last time out. So
right, it allowed him some time. But now it'll be Terry Henderson at the line shooting 2. If he hits them both, it becomes essentially academic, a 2-possession ball game with 2.3 to go. Henderson has 19 points on the game, a 79% free throw shooter.
Wonderful coming out game tonight for Terry Henderson when they really needed it. Yeah, Mark Gottfried has a timeout. I'd like to burn him here and make sure everybody knows, fellas, just stand there.
And Henderson knocks them both down. 21 on the game for Terry Henderson. And NC State will snap their 3-game ACC losing streak and improve to 2-4 in conference, 13-6 overall. Win number 399 in Mark Gottfried's career. We will hear from the victorious head coach when we come back to Raleigh after NC State's win over Pitt, 79-74. But first, we send it back to the ESPNU studios and Eddie Schroff.
Rich, thank you. I'm here with Debbie Antonelli. NC State gets off the Schneid. We'll get it back out to Raleigh. It's so hard to win on the road in the ACC, as Pitt is finding out, but it also means you have to defend your home court. We saw NC State go down to Georgia Tech at home on Sunday. That game got dicey at the end. It almost had the feel, and I know it's early January, almost had the feel of a play-in game or an elimination game in many ways.
Well, for Pitt, that's 4 losses. I mean,
Yeah.
You could consider
5
that in the ACC, right, 4 in a row. What an incredible opportunity for Mark Gottfried to break down the film at the end of the game and make sure his team is clear about what's important and understanding time and score. That could have been a very bad moment for NC State.
Yeah, let's go back to that. So Dennis Smith throws the ball away when NC State just had to get the ball inbounds. In that spot, what are you taught to do?
Well, if you have a timeout left, you need to be aware of that. And I think NC State did not have a timeout left. So it was the foul before that would be more concerning to me. You got to get the ball inbounds. You see all the NC State players breaking away from the ball. You got to cut to the basketball.
Yeah. NC State pulls it out. They stop their 3-game losing streak. Pittsburgh now 1-5 in league play. And for Kevin Stallings in his first season, it's an indoctrination and a cruel one in that. as to what the ACC gauntlet is all about.
Yeah, I think Dino talked about it a lot, about not having a true point guard and what it means, and it certainly is hurting them.
Let's go back out to the men who called the game, Dino Gaudio and Rich Hollenberg, to wrap things up from Raleigh.
Thank you, Nish. Rich Hollenberg, Dino Gaudio, joined by Victorious head coach Mark Gottfried. Mark, we talked to you earlier before this game, and you told us it had to be the defense that was going to lead the way. Certainly your defense played a lot better tonight than they have in the last week. What was the difference?
Well, first thing, I like the way you said victorious, coach. Them other ones don't sound so good. I didn't like those last three. But, you know, I thought the first half our matchup helped us. Our zone was good. I thought at the start of the second half they kind of got loose and made some threes. And I don't know that was because of, you know, us doing such a poor job. I thought they just stepped up and they got in a rhythm and made some tough ones. But then I thought down the stretch our defense was really good. The last 6 or 7 minutes, I thought that's probably what was the difference in the game.
Hey, Mark, Terry Henderson, Maverick Rowan, what did those guys mean to you tonight?
Well, they were big, and, you know, Pitt, I think they're a little bit limited on their numbers, and Kevin wanted to probably zone a little bit more to save some guys, and so we needed to make some shots. And, you know, we wanted the ball to go inside a little bit more, but we played a majority of the game with 4 guards. We were out on the perimeter a lot, and I thought we were getting pretty good looks, but I thought Maverick made a couple big ones. Terry made a couple big ones. Those guys made some big plays. Markell came in off the bench, and I thought gave us great minutes, a great drive one time in there in the basket. And so, but Terry and Maverick's perimeter shooting I thought was really important.
Mark, how did you prepare with the quick turnaround? Sunday night game, a Tuesday night game. What was your preparation like for this one?
Well, on yesterday, I would have liked to practice them about 7 hours. I think I told you guys that. And, but you got to be smart, and I wanted to be a little smarter than that. But, you know, we watched some film. We got on the floor a little bit for probably about an hour and 15 minutes. I thought we went pretty hard. And our guys understood. We didn't play great against Georgia Tech. That's on us, and it's on me as a coach. And I thought they came out and responded really well today.
Well, Mark Gottfried, congrats on the win. You improved to 13-6 on the year and 2-4 in conference play. Mark Gottfried with career win number 399, and it's a big one, 79-74 over Pitt.